knock it off. Hold on. You wrong as a bishop. You should not talk about people like that. Man, Richard, go kill yourself something. Let me get off before I tell you I would speak my mind. Because let me tell you something. You ain't going to come up here condemning me with the word of God.
Well, I wonder if he wanted to kill himself when he found out his attorney missed that last hearing. Hi there. I'm Professor Blackmore and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm coming back to you with chapter 5 of my series entitled The Gospel According to Bishop Whitehead. And now if you want to know what hearing Bishop Whitehead's attorney missed, you're going to have to watch my prior chapter 4 video in this series because I'm just going to pick up right where I left off. But before I do that, I just want to note that I will be providing further updates on the criminal case and the single additional count issued in the superseding indictment filed by the U.S. Attorney's Office on March 7, 2023. So you don't want to miss it. Oh, but anyway, y'all, back to the matter at hand. And I just want to start off by asking any one of you, as an everyday individual engaged in a lease to buy transaction like this one, irrespective of how you feel about Bishop Whitehead, put yourself in his position. And let's say you were paying monthly lease payments on a property that someone else was occupying free of charge, and you could not get them to leave, and you were having no luck getting them evicted under New York's laws that seem to cater to people who like to live rent-free in other people's real estate. Or put yourself in the place of the owner of the property who would never have been able to get anyone else to buy the property because you couldn't evict the current occupants, i.e. Glory of God Church, who were in possession of the property when you, as the owner of the property, obtained it in a foreclosure sale with the express intent of quickly flipping the property to make a quick profit. Put yourself in either one of these two people's position. And so that is how this mess started. The owner of the property and Bishop Whitehead engaged each other in a lease to buy transaction whereby Bishop Whitehead was empowered by the owner of the property, Mr. Moses, to use his resources to legally evict Glory of God from the church premises. And so, amongst other court proceedings initiated by Bishop Whitehead and his attorney, he ultimately filed a Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the United States Bankruptcy Court, which automatically stayed all other court proceedings that had taken place in the New York State courts. And as a result, both Glory of God Church and the owner of the property, Mr. Moses, filed motions with the bankruptcy court to dismiss the bankruptcy case that Bishop Whitehead filed. Nevertheless, due to some odd occurrence of which I can't really logically explain, Bishop Whitehead's attorney failed to appear at the hearing that was set to take place on March 1st, 2023, to hear arguments on the motions filed by Glory of God Church and Mr. Moses. Now, Bishop Whitehead's attorney's stated reason for missing the hearing was because of a bizarre illness and/or injury suffered by the attorney's mother. And again, you can find all about that by watching my prior chapter 4 video. And so, as a result of the absence of Bishop Whitehead's attorneys at the March 1st hearing, the judge had no other recourse but to grant the motion to dismiss by default. Now, notwithstanding, Bishop Whitehead's attorneys requested an emergency hearing requesting that the judge vacate her order dismissing the bankruptcy case. Well, since there was no actual order on file, as I stated in my prior chapter 4 video, it seems that the judge had to scramble to put one together to address this issue urged by Bishop Whitehead's attorney on an emergency basis. And so, on March the 3rd, 2023, the judge entered an order dismissing the Chapter 11 petition. Nevertheless, she retained jurisdiction over the matter in light of the pending motion to vacate the dismissal. Then, the judge also entered another order on March 3rd, 2023, a scheduling order scheduling a hearing on the motion to vacate the order of dismissal, setting the matter to be heard virtually online by video appearance on March 9th, 2023 at 2 p.m. Now, as you can see here in her order, the judge entered a finding that, quote, cause exists for a hearing on the motion on shortened notice, end quote. And so she seemed to feel that there was something to Bishop Whitehead's attorney's cry and plea for emergency relief based on the fact that his mother had suffered this horrific injury. And so the judge did in fact hold a hearing on the matter on March 9th. And at the time of the hearing, the judge determined that there was enough evidence and controverting facts to necessitate the need to set a further hearing. And the judge did in fact set a further hearing, which is now set to take place on March 30th, 2023 at 10 o'clock a.m. Now, I surmise that the reason that the judge set this further hearing was because before the hearing on March 8th, 2023, Bishop Whitehead's attorney filed this affidavit with the court, which I'm sure caused a great amount of confusion about the reason that Mr. Moses would be filing a motion to dismiss the bankruptcy in the first place, when it's the only thing that finally caused the eviction of Glory of God from the premises. Because the affidavit includes a copy of the trust agreement that categorizes the business relationship between Mr. Moses and Bishop Whitehead regarding the property that can only be categorized as being used for business purposes. And yes, I'm saying that for all of you so-called armchair attorneys out there who think the issue of whether this is a business bankruptcy or not is a dispositive issue for the court when the judge has never said that it is or is not. Now, I have discussed at length in my prior videos how I feel about the trust addendum that gives Bishop Whitehead authority to act as trustee to file legal actions in any court of competent jurisdiction, of which the bankruptcy court is a competent court of jurisdiction, to bring about the eviction of Glory of God Church. But now, the actual trust agreement has been brought to the attention of the court, which is as enlightening as the trust addendum, and it states, quote, the trust property shall be held for the benefit of Lamar Whitehead or any entity he may designate and distribute at such time and in such amount as the trustee shall determine, end quote. The trust agreement states further, quote, Michael Moses shall be appointed to act as trustee upon the execution and delivery to a person designated by Michael Moses of a note and mortgage in the principal amount of $3,260,000 by Lamar Whitehead, and the execution and delivery of a personal guarantee by Lamar Whitehead guaranteeing all obligations of the mortgagor arising under said note and mortgage, and the execution and recording of a declaration and restrictions prohibiting the transfer, encumbrance, or any transaction that affects the title to the real property without the express prior consent of the mortgagee, Michael Moses, shall resign, and Lamor Whitehead shall be appointed successor trustee, end quote. So this all means that the end result in the end is that this property at all times was purchased, it seems even, for the express purpose of flipping it and selling it to Lamar Whitehead. Now, Put that together with this addendum to the 5904 Foster Avenue Trust, which states, quote, Lamar Whitehead is appointed to act as trustee of the 5904 Avenue Trust with the following limited and restricted grant of authority solely to enable him to perform the following two acts. Number one, to secure financing for him to purchase the real property. And number two, to commence and pursue an appropriate legal proceeding in a court of competent jurisdiction seeking a court order removing the current occupants of the real property, i.e., glory of God, end quote. And just let me go back just for a minute and state that when it says to commence and pursue an appropriate legal proceeding, if Mr. Moses wanted to define what that meant by stating, and that does not include a bankruptcy filing, he should have done that. But he did not. And so any court action at this particular point in time is an appropriate action. And so whether Mr. Moses likes it or not, he absolutely appointed Bishop Whitehead to act as trustee to take whatever legal action possible to bring about the removal of glory of God from the church building. And so again, in my opinion, Bishop Whitehead has absolutely accomplished this task created by this limited grant of authority. But as y'all know on here, I just ask and report and I let you decide. So I ask you again, what would you do if you entered into an agreement to purchase this real property from Mr. Moses and the Glory of God Church would not vacate the premises and they would not pay the monthly mortgage? What would you do if you were duly appointed to act as trustee to evict Glory of God and the only thing that would work was filing a bankruptcy? And with this in mind, how do you think the judge will rule at the March 30th, 2023 hearing? Do you think the judge will vacate her ruling dismissing the bankruptcy case, which means that the bankruptcy case will be reinstated? Please let me know by leaving your comments in the comments section below. Although I already know what y'all gonna say because y'all can't stand this dude. But please let me know what you think anyway. And I hope you'll also give me a big thumbs up. And I hope you'll also consider donating to this video and my entire channel ministry by clicking the super thanks heart button below and or by donating to my channel, Professor Blackmore Cash App. And while you're there, I hope you'll also subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell so you'll be notified whenever I come back with more hot tea on this case. And please also follow me on TikTok and Instagram.